My Hero Academia Season 5 Episode 12 is out, and with this new episode we get a look at the relaxing epilogue to the Joint Training Arc. This episode covers 1.5 chapters from the My Hero manga, following the events of Chapter 217 and the first half of Chapter 219. And so, without further ado, let's jump right into My Hero Academia Season 5 Episode 12 titled The New Power and All for One. And as usual, don't forget to Detroit smash that like button and slide into that subscribe button's DMs to hit that notification bell. This episode opens up exactly where the last episode left off. After witnessing Team Midoriya go to town and make quick work of Team Monoma, Papa Aizawa decided that he was proud of his purple-haired baby boy, and he revealed that Shinzo would be joining the Hero Academia at the start of their second year. Kirishima and his Class 1B doppelganger Tetsu ask will he be joining Class 1A or Class 1B, to which the teachers respond by saying that they aren't sure yet whether or not they want him to be important to the plot. After the teacher's analysis on Team Midoriya is finished, Mina Ashido, much like many members of the My Hero fanbase, asks for the execution of her pervy purple-haired partner. I mean, with the amount of people Aizawa has choked with his scarf in this arc, I wouldn't have been surprised if he had just jumped at this opportunity. Monoma, overhearing all of this talk about Class 1A, in classic Monoma fashion, demands an instant rematch to prove that 1A's victory was merely a fluke. Obviously, his request is quickly denied. However, Aizawa does ask Monoma to come along afterwards with him to meet with Eri. He probably just wants to rewind Monoma back to a time before he developed a superiority complex. And with all of this, the Joint Training Arc officially finishes up. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is really the last we will be seeing of Class 1B for a long time. Let's hope you didn't get attached to any of them. The story then cuts over to Midoriya and Bakugo in the UA training ground with All Might, where Bakugo, having enough of his rival's protagonist BS, is trying to finish off his childhood rival once and for all. As All Might tells the Chihuahua-tempered explosion boy to calm down, the three heroes discuss what exactly is happening with our green-haired protagonist's quirk. All Might notes that the user Midoriya saw in his vision wasn't Nana Shimura's master, and as a result, he currently has no idea who that user was. Midoriya mentions how he feels the quirk's sudden growth might have been caused by some external source, and Bakugo brings up the point that if that's the case, then it could potentially have been caused by All for One, as One for All is a byproduct of All for One, the quirk. Midoriya and All Might, obviously panicking at the thought that their beloved quirk is somehow even further connected to the potato-headed supervillain, decide that they should focus all of their efforts into controlling and understanding this new ability. Midoriya then reveals that he may have actually subconsciously locked away his ability to use Black Whip until his body feels strong enough to control it. Bakugo, hearing Midoriya say blah 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 blah, still not at full power, blah 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 blah, comes to the conclusion that his training with Midoriya is now pointless, and the training session ends. Following this, we see Midoriya arrive back at the dorm rooms, where some of the members of Class 1B have shown up to hang out with their newly made friends. To be honest, this is actually a really nice moment. It's great to see that the friendships these characters have forged, whether that be true rivalry or camaraderie, aren't just limited to situations where they are forced to work with one another. Having members of 1B just casually showing up and hanging out with 1A really drives the point that these still are just kids in school. I mean, of course they would want to just chillax with their fellow students, and now they have shared experiences to talk about and to bring them closer together. Even though it's a really small moment, it's great for world building, and it also helps make all of the characters feel a bit more alive and real. Just having a character present can go a lot farther than you think. Hell, I'm pretty sure Monoma, Kendo, and Tetsu have technically had more screen time than a lot of the side characters of Class 1A. Yet, you could still argue that these 1A characters are still more beloved, merely because they have a more consistent presence throughout. But my ramblings aside, this scene continues as Todoroki appears and he confronts Midoriya about having two quirks. Midoriya, using his quick thinking, convinces Todoroki that Black Whip is just a derivation of One for All, and nothing more. Hearing this, Todoroki tells Midoriya that he isn't satisfied with his level of control over his fire, and the scene quickly shifts over to Endeavor absolutely manhandling a villain, looking at the message Shoto sent him asking to learn his Flash Fire ultimate move. As the night comes to an end and a new day arrives upon us, Aizawa and the the other faculty members are in a meeting to organize Shinzo's transfer over to the hero course. Once the meeting ends, President Mike catches up with Aizawa on his way to meet with Eri, and he jokes that Shinzo is just like how Aizawa used to be in his school days. Like father, like son. President Mike follows up this jest asking Aizawa if he sees himself in Shinzo, or is it something to do with Shirakumo? If anyone wants to know who Shirakumo is and why he's so important, I cannot recommend the My Hero Academia Vigilantes manga enough. There is an entire arc dedicated to Aizawa's past, and it really helps to explain why Aizawa is the type of teacher that he is. But anyway, after this brief conversation, Aizawa arrives at Eri's dorm, where Mirio, Midoriya, and Monoma, hey Triple M, are all waiting together for their teacher to arrive. Aizawa informs the students that he has brought them here together as he wants Monoma to copy Eri's quirk to see if he can use it and help teach her. The reason Mirio and Midoriya are here as well is because they have to act as moral support for poor little Eri, who has to deal with the dark side of UA. Unfortunately, Monoma can't utilize Eri's quirk, as he calls it a blank. And it's here where Monoma reveals that if he copies a quirk that uses stockpiled energy, he doesn't copy that stockpiled energy. This is why when he copied One for All, he didn't get any boost from it, as he didn't get all of the built up power from the quirk's previous users. Little Eri, upset that Monoma can't help, blames herself, telling everyone that she wishes she wasn't cursed with her quirk. But the smallest of her three dads, Midoriya, chimes in, reminding her that her quirk isn't a curse but a blessing, as it's only because of her that he could brutally beat down Overhaul, and he tells Eri that she shouldn't be afraid of her power, as it's not important what it does, but it's how she uses it. Eri then gives off her classic adorable smile, and Midoriya also takes in his own words, realizing that it doesn't matter if his power is connected to All for One. Just like Eri, he just has to focus on using it for good. And on this upbeat note, we then get a small time skip to winter, where Kirishima is taking his shirt off at the sight of snow for some reason, Tsuyu Asui is entering hibernation, and all of Class 1A are having a nice relaxing time in their winter wonderland. That is, all of Class A, with the exception of Todoroki and Bakugo, who have finally received their provisional hero licenses, and are off doing what they do best, taking down some villains. Todoroki uses his ice to freeze the majority of the potential threats, and Bakugo explodes his way onto the scene, taking out any stranglers, and the two students successfully take down the entire group of villains without a single civilian injury or casualty, all while keeping the damage to a minimum. And with two successful young provisional license heroes, a cheery Christmas in sight, and the ominous self-destruction of a quirk-enhancing support item, episode 100 of My Hero Academia comes to an end. Happy Christmas, everybody. Wait a minute, it's the middle of June, what the fuck? Overall, this was an okay episode. It was very much an epilogue for the joint training arc, so I really wasn't expecting too much from it. This episode actually diverged from the manga quite a bit. It cut out a whole chapter and a half, but don't worry, the reasoning behind it was for pacing, as the contents of those chapters will 100% be brought into the next episode. Since nothing really happened, I don't have too much to say, although I do want to point out that there was one really cute scene where Eri tells Mirio that she is learning to write so she can write a thank you letter to both him and Midoriya. Now this moment originally was just a rough sketch single page in volume 23 used to break up the actual chapters, but I'm really glad they added it in. Next week we should be getting a new opening, as the second half and second arc of this season is about to begin, and let me tell you, this upcoming arc is hands down one of the best in the entire series, so I got some pretty high expectations. Overall, I would give this episode a 6.5 or 7 out of 10. Not much really happened, but it's still a necessary episode to break up the two arcs. But let me know what you thought of this episode. If you like this video, don't forget to leave a like. For more My Hero content, subscribe to the Lunchtime Crew. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Plus Ultra.